Hi everyone, welcome to 51 Drones, and this is the DJI Avata 360. Welcome to my first uncut and raw first experience with this drone. So I did this with the Antigravity, where I just took the drone out for the first time, flew it, and shared my experience with all of you, and it seemed like a lot of people like that. So I'm going to do the same thing with the 360 Avata. So I haven't done anything with this other than take it out of the box. I unboxed it, and I updated the firmware, charged up the batteries and everything. And then I updated the firmware on the Goggles N3. I'm going to try that today too. But what I want to get out of this video, I want to show you is my experience. Like, this is a first-time user's experience of the Avata 360. So we're not going to talk about specs today. We're not going to read off a bunch of numbers that you can get just about anywhere. I want to show you my first reaction to this drone. Now, also, I bought this drone with my own money. Nobody's paying me to make this video. Nobody donated this drone to me, so this is a honest, unsponsored review. So I know a lot of people appreciate that as well. So just a couple of reactions from unboxing. This is a lot bigger than I expected it to be. So here's the Avata 2, and of course I have my prop guards on there from Original Dobo. He made custom ones for me, so thank you, Ken. But you can see it is a lot bigger than the Avata 2. I was expecting it to be about the same size, but it's definitely wider. It is not compact, but I think to have the weight, to have the ability to carry this much weight, it's going to have to be a little bit bigger. So I think that's why it's like that. So I also brought the Antigravity today with me, and what I'll do at the end of the video, I'm just going to compare some footage between the two so you guys can see what the difference is in the footage. It's not the best time of year to get footage today. It's still, we're just finally getting into the time of year where we don't have to wear a winter coat. So there's a little bit of green on the ground, but not much. It's still pretty brown around here. But so what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to fly with the RC2 and just get the experience of flying it with that controller, because that's one thing that you cannot do currently with the Antigravity A1, having a regular controller with a screen. So I'm going to do that first. Really unique design where you can fly this as a single lens camera drone or the 360. So I'm just going to get it up in the air here. I am going to use the landing pad today. I don't normally use a landing pad, but I just want to be extra safe with this drone just because of the lenses are really fragile and on a 360 camera, and I don't have a lens replacement kit, so I don't want to wreck it. So let's see if we can get a signal here. All right, screen recording, and it looks like we're still waiting on a satellite signal. Still blinking red. So I'm going to wait a little bit here, and I'll tell you how long it takes to get a signal with satellites. All right, we're coming up on 3 minutes, and it still shows no satellites. But then if you look on the left-hand side here, it says takeoff permitted. Normally, if there's no satellites, it's yellow, and it just says caution, no satellites. So I'm just going to go ahead and launch it and see what happens. All right, let's hear how it sounds. Well, it's definitely not a quiet drone, but we knew that. Anytime you get this style of drone, it's not going to be very quiet. So let's go ahead and hit the record button. All right, cool. I do hear an airplane. I'm going to bring this down. He's pretty far away, but we'll keep it down just in case. Okay, there you can see all of a sudden we have 26 satellites. So it went from 0 to 26 after I launched it. I'm not sure what's going on there, but all right, looks like he is clear. So let's get it up in the air here, and yeah, like you can see, it's pretty brown. So if you look here, it looks like next to the record button, it shows our angle of view. And you can just tap on it. Oh, that's cool. 104, 134, 272. Oh. You can pinch on the screen to change your angle of view. Oh, that's cool. Okay. All right, so I can't change where I'm looking with my fingers, but I can change the view by pinching it. So I thought maybe you could scroll with your finger on the screen, but you can't do that. All right, let's go ahead and fly around a little bit. All right, cool. I'm just gonna fly straight down the road here. And then what I'll do is I'll edit the footage to show you the different kind of angles that you can change it to after you've done some editing. But I'm just gonna make nice wide turns here. Now, one thing I wanna make sure is, and I should have done this on my pre-flight, make sure that I have obstacle avoidance on, and yes, I do. Okay, let's go ahead and fly back towards us now. It definitely is a very high-pitched drone. You can hear it coming from pretty far away. It's not one that you're going to be able to remain conspicuous with for sure. So let's go over the golf course here. Just going to go ahead and pan down. So it doesn't really matter where I'm aiming the gimbal or where I'm aiming the camera right now, because I'm going to be able to go in after the fact and choose what I want to look at. So yeah, very nice. So this flies like just any other DJI drone. It feels like I'm flying the Mini 5 Pro or the Mavic 4 Pro or any other drone. So nothing really unique other than you can change your angle of view. So let's pull this up right here. We can switch. So right now we're recording in 360, right? So we can switch it to single, focus track not supported, and single camera mode. Okay, so now, oh wow, it's really wobbly. Okay, there's no gimbal on the camera. There's no gimbal. It's just a fixed camera. So it's gonna look like an FPV drone. Okay, I got it. Well, let's record some of this footage. I really don't know how this is practical, actually. So it's gonna be, the camera is gonna be facing whatever way the drone is tilting. So if you have any kind of wind, so like right now, all right, it's fighting the wind, even though it's not windy, it's like 5 miles an hour. But yeah, whenever you turn the drone, it's gonna tilt in that direction. I don't know, it's kind of, it's not even like FPV actually. A little bit, but yeah, this is not something that I'm gonna use ever. So I guess it's kind of cool that you can choose single camera mode, but why would you ever use this? I have no idea. All right, let's switch back because I do not like that. We'll go back to 360 here. And let's get a little more footage. We'll fly over the river. And then I'm going to put the goggles on and I'm going to compare the experience of flying with the goggles and just kind of give you a basic review of how I think it is compared to the A1. I'm going to use the goggles N3. I like to use the N3. I don't know. I just feel like it's quite a bit cheaper than the goggles 3, but it's a little bit heavier, I guess, too. A little bit more bulky. But I just feel like it feels better on my face. I don't know. I just prefer it. And I like the pricing too. It's more economical for more people. And I think the experience is nearly as good as the other goggles. So, all right. So we got the goggles on. We got the Motion 3. And they should connect up right away. But let's take a look in here. There we go. It helps if you turn it on. So let's get it up in the air. Okay. There we go. Now we can see it. And I'm going to hit the record. Okay, so the vision assist pops up in the left-hand corner. That's cool. Let's go ahead and pause this. All right. This is kind of cool. All right, so it's just like the anti-gravity. You look in all directions. Now let's put it up and start flying. Yeah, I'll never get tired of doing this, flying 360. I am so happy that this technology is here. I think it's so amazing, you guys. The feeling like you are flying. So okay, first impressions of this compared to the anti-gravity. It's not as wide, so I can't see as much on the screen. Actually, I am wrong on that, and I'll explain here in just a little bit. It's very clear. It's very crystal clear. Like, I like that I can see everything clearly. Yeah, this is okay. The footage, I think, looks really good. We'll see here. I'll compare it to the anti-gravity, and you guys can see it as well. But I think it looks fine for the little bit of color that we have around here. Okay, let's go ahead and switch into sport mode. Okay, there for the first time I saw the stitch line right when it took off. Okay, we got low battery, so I'm going to bring it home. All right, on the pad. I like that. Yeah, nothing really that I wasn't expecting. It's pretty good. I think maybe it's, if it was the first time I flew a 360 drone, I would be amazed. But since I've been flying the A1 now for a few months, it's like, oh, it's pretty cool, but it's not as exciting as the first time. Okay, so I think the anti-gravity has the edge there because it was the first 360 experience for me. So let's put up the anti-gravity, and just while this is fresh in my mind, and then I'll compare my thoughts with you and share them with you, and then show you guys the footage too. So definitely the anti-gravity goggles have the win here as far as design. This is some of the coolest tech ever made. These are amazing. They fit amazing. They feel great. They're comfortable. I can't get enough. I can't say enough good things about the anti-gravity. Foldable, that's an advantage for sure. Much smaller, less than 250 grams. I'm going to be doing a full comparison review between these two drones, between the Avata 360 and the Antigravity A1. I'm going to compare not only the claims of each, but the footage and the benefits and the negatives of each of them. So keep watching for that. I'm going to be shooting that over the next 2 weeks, and hopefully I'll get it done before that. But yeah, those are two great advantages: the size, and then the weight, and then the portability of the anti-gravity. So What do we got for battery? Let's put in a new one. All right, I had to adjust a few settings there. I think my son was flying this thing. I had to change everything. I had to change my diopters. So it's still not quite right, but okay, one correction already. The Avata 360 is much wider as far as the field of view in the goggles. I was wrong. I was thinking this was wider, but it's definitely wider in the goggles N3. So, all right, let's get this up in the air. Okay. All right, let's fly around, see what we got. Okay, first impressions right now. First things I noticed right away. The footage of the Avata 360 is better in the goggles. Like, it's more crystal clear. I don't know, I still feel like this is more immersive. Yeah, this is definitely, you feel it with the A1, you feel like you're actually in the sky, and it's a lot more disorienting. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I definitely can tell that the feeling feels more genuine with the A1. But I think the viewfinder is definitely better on the Avata 360. Okay, today's the next day, and I was watching those video clips from the A1 and the Avata 360, and I didn't fly the same flight path when I did those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head out there today, and I'm going to capture some new video with each of them. And then also I'm going to do a couple of other different scenes so you guys can see the differences, not only in exposure and things like that, but also coloring. And so I'm just going to put like 3 different scenes in there so you guys can compare the footage between these 2 drones. So I'm gonna head out and do that. Let me know what you think. Which one of these looks better to you? We have 2 Cooper Hawks flying around. I don't think they appreciate drones flying in their territory, but all right, let's get this all put away and then I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, so here's my final thoughts on these 2 drones, mostly on the Avata 360. It is very fun to fly. It's crystal clear in the goggles N3 even. It's probably better in the goggles 3. But it has one huge advantage, you guys. One huge advantage over the A1. You can fly this drone with the goggles and the motion controller when you're sitting down. With the A1, with the anti-gravity, you have to be standing because you have to position your head in the direction that the drone is going if you want to see where it's going. You can change the direction on the anti-gravity controller by using the wheel. You know, you can turn the drone in that direction. But if you're flying it, you got the trigger pulled and you want to turn right, with the Avata 360, it just turns right. You're going to be able to see it in your goggles. With the A1, you have to turn your body to match the heading of the drone. That is a huge advantage of the 360. So here's one simple way that they could fix that actually, so you could still fly this more easily when you're sitting down, is, you know how you can rotate the drone by turning the wheel here, but you can't do it when you're flying forwards. If they could add a firmware update where when you're flying forwards, you got the accelerator pulling on the trigger, and then also you could turn the wheel at the same time while you are flying, like that would be so huge. I don't know why they couldn't do that, but I'm no engineer, but if you guys are watching, make that happen so that when you're flying the A1 forwards, you can turn, you can yaw the drone with the wheel. Like that would be really cool if you guys could do that. So now the experience I think is still better with the A1. I feel like I'm actually in the sky flying like a bird. Definitely cool. But the video quality, the video feed quality is better. The signal is stronger, much stronger. I didn't lose a signal once with this. I lost it a few times behind the trees with the A1. So those are some things I'm going to talk about in my comparison video between these two drones. What I want to know from you guys, what do you want to see me compare? Like some of the obvious ones, yes, signal strength, battery life, image quality, but what else do you want to see? And what questions do you have that you need answered to determine which one of these drones you're going to get if you're going to get them as your first 360 drone? Of course, pricing is another one. Like there's a lot of different variables that you need to consider. I don't think one is better than the other overall. They both have advantages and disadvantages. So yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to do this full review video. This is fun. It's definitely fun to fly 360 drones. There's no doubt about that. I think it's only going to get better as we go and as the technology improves. The stitch line's pretty good on both of these drones. I only noticed it once in the Avata 360. I noticed it a couple of times in the A1, but I think it just depends on how you fly it as well. So, but yeah, really fun experience. So let me know what your questions are. Hit that thumbs up if I give you anything of value today with this raw, uncut, unsponsored Avata 360 video. I appreciate that. It really helps the video out. So have a great day, everyone. And as always, fly safe and fly smart.